My name is Dr. Marissa May. In this video, we're going to be multiplying binomials with imaginary numbers. Now, just a reminder, the imaginary unit is I equals square root of -1, but a lot of times the more useful version of that is I to the second equals -1. We'll be using that along the way. Let's begin over here on problem number 1 by doing a little distributive property, or maybe you see that as the FOIL method. That's fine. We're going to multiply this out. So 3 times 2 gives me 6. 3 times -I gives me -3I. -2I times 2 gives me -4I. And then -2I times -I gives me +2I to the second. Now, I do see this minus here, and I'm going to reserve it here in a little bit. I'm going to go ahead and do the multiplication, then I'll distribute the minus. So 4 times 4 gives me 16. 4 times I gives me 4I. -I times 4, -4I. And then -I times +I gives me -I to the second. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and combine like terms over here. That's the -3I minus 4I. That gives me -7I. And then I'm going to let these 4 i's cancel. Okay. And so I've got 16 minus I to the second. Now I'll distribute this minus to the second parentheses. So I've got 6 minus 7I plus 2I to the second. And then I'm distributing a negative. So -16 plus I to the second. And then again, I'm going to combine like terms. So 6 minus 16 is -10. Got minus 7I. And then 2I to the second plus I to the second, 3I to the second. All right, now remember I said the more usable form of that imaginary number, I to the second equals -1. We're going to make that substitution here. So I'm going to replace this I to the second with a -1. And of course, 3 times -1 is going to give me -3. And I can combine like terms with the -10 then, so that I get -13 minus 7I. And this is my final answer there. Now, I want to do one more because I always find that the second example helps us to kind of solidify the process. So let's start here on problem number 2, the same way we did on problem number 1 by distributing or using the FOIL method with these first 2 parentheses. So 2 times 3 would give me 6. 2 times -I would give me -2I. 3I plus or times 3 would give me 9I. And then 3I times -I would be -3I to the second. Again, I'm going to hold that minus out till after I do the multiplication. So 2 times 2 is 4. 2 times I gives me 2I. -I times 2 gives me -2I. And then -I times I gives me -I to the second. All right, I'm going to combine like terms out here. So I've got 6, and then minus 2I plus 9I gives me 7I. And then I'll just go ahead and cancel those 2 i's inside that parentheses. And now I'm ready to distribute that minus that's out in front of the parentheses here. So I leave all of the things in front just as they are. And I'll distribute the minus. So -1 times 4 gives me -4. -1 times -I to the second gives me +I to the second. All right, just like before, we'll combine like terms. The 6 and the -4 give me 2. And then the minus 3I to the second plus I to the second gives me -2I to the second. Last step, we'll go ahead and make the substitution that I to the second is -1. And so that gives me minus 2 times -1 is -2. So now I can change that to adding a positive. And we can combine like terms. Then again, 4 plus 7I. And again, you see my final answer there. I hope this helps you see the pattern between the two, that we did the same process. Take your time. There's a lot of sign, changing of positives and negatives. I find that students often make a mistake with that. So be very detailed in your work as you're working these type of problems. And I think you'll avoid those mistakes. All right, bye for now.